It's time for What Drives Reno, presented by the National Automobile Museum in downtown Reno. Here's your host, Phil McDougall.
Welcome, Reno. Wake up, get dressed, and get ready. You're listening to What Drives Reno, presented by the National Automobile Museum. What is our show about? Well, it's about cars, as you know. Sometimes it's a lot about cars. Sometimes it's not so much. Sometimes it's a lot about people just in the community that are making a big difference. So today, I'm honored to have our first guest who is going to talk. I'm imagining this is going to be just as much cars as going to be the community. But we're very, very grateful to have Taylor Adams. He is the President and Chief Executive Officer of Economic Development Authority of Western Nevada, better known as EDAWN. Did I get that right?
You got it right, Phil. Thanks so much for having me. It's great to be here today.
Well, welcome. Thank you very much for taking the time to come. I'm going to start off like we do at every show, at every guest, and say, what was your first
car?
Oh, that's easy. It was a 1981 Pontiac Grand Prix that my dad, who's a car builder, and I rescued out of a junkyard. His first car I restored with him, and it wasn't frame off, but it was complete reworking of the engine, transmission, and then it's also the first car that I got to paint. So I remember it well. Miss that car every day.
And how long did you have that? Because most people have a story like, my dad got it, my dad took it, my older brother took it. Did you enjoy this for a period of time, or?
A short time.
Very short. See,
so I loved that car, but it's important to know. I mean, if you've got anybody here that's a builder that's listening to this, I can tell you, if you're in the business, every car you own is for sale all the time. So I had that car for, call it 15 months. It was a great car to sort of learn to drive in. And then one day, my dad called. Actually, it was funny. I remember I got called to the office at school. I was in high school, and my dad said, "I need you to check out of school and drive here to the shop." He had sold my car, and so that was
So see, that's a new one. I haven't heard that before. Yeah. See, your dad gave you the heads up. We have a lot of people, like Aaron Hager was on the other day, and he goes, "Dad just sold it on me."
Oh, that's right.
You just said, "I didn't want you to have it. You go too fast. It's gone."
Oh, so make no mistake. Between I grew up in Mississippi, and you could still get your driver's license at 15 when I was growing up. And so between the time I got my driver's license when I was 15 and I graduated from high school and went to college, I probably had 30 cars, and at least 75% of those were just gone one day. I never knew. They were just gone. And it was always the ones I loved that were gone the fastest. But anyway.
So that happens all the time, and I say this every episode almost, but it gave us freedom. It gave us the ability just to do things we never thought possible, and it was a great bargaining tool for my dad. If I wasn't towing the line, I got one of two things. One of them involved the car being taken away.
Oh, for sure, and especially for me. And my dad knew exactly what strings to pull. I mean, so important to know. My old man was a tried and true General Motors guy. Loved old Chevys, but particularly Buicks, Oldsmobiles, that kind of stuff, and Cadillacs, of course, from those era. Being a kid of the 70s and 80s, I loved the fast Fords that he hated, and so anytime I had one, he made. This was before I loved exotics back then, but in high school I couldn't afford one, and that was the thing with him is I had to buy. He would sell them. He would give me the money, and then I would get to buy the next one. And that said, anytime I had one of those, I knew that I needed to get all I could out of it because it was going to be short-lived. Yeah. That's right.
It's funny how they have that bargaining, that overshadowing control over us all the time, and we're going to do that. And as much as we didn't like certain things that our parents did, we all say things that we said. If I ever hear my father say that one more time, I don't know if you experienced that, especially with your young ones. But I'm going, oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying what my father said to me that drove me up the wall.
Oh, Phil, all the time. We've got 4 children. Our oldest is 18 and youngest is 12. 2 boys and 2 girls, and it's funny. So my dad is gone. He passed 3 years ago, but it's funny. All of those sayings that I hated hearing him say, they're like a point of pride for me now that I get to use them because he's gone. I miss obviously. My old man was an absolute force in my life and was my hero until the day he died. And so I actually, now that I miss him, I enjoy getting to pass all of those little sayings forward. That interestingly enough, and we had a home farm, but the way that he delivered them to me, generally we were working on cars. We were in the shop, working on something together, and he would just talk to me and he would tell me these things, and now I get to pass them on to my kids. So it's kind of cool.
You had a favorite thing that pops to your mind that your dad used to say, whether it was something you liked back then or not?
Oh, I'll give you 2, and these are the 2 that I use most often. So his marquee saying was always, son, we can accomplish anything with the right mix of hard work and common sense. That was his motto.
Very good.
And so, and I will tell you, I don't know that I understood how wise that one was when when he was telling it to me. But as I've gotten older, it means more and more to me. A couple of others that were probably my favorite one is or close to favorite would be he used to love to say, he goes, son, if we can't let the easy things be easy, how are we ever going to get to the hard things?
Good. No, that's good. It's good. But back then, I guarantee you didn't appreciate as much as you do.
Oh.
Well, maybe not. You sound like you were with them all the time.
No. I mean, there's no way that I had the life experience to understand sort of the wisdom that he was sharing with me. But those two are my favorite. The other one that he used to love, and this was generally when I was on his nerves, because I asked a lot of questions even back then. Well, why not this? Why not that? And he would look at me. He'd say, Taylor, stop worrying about the mule going blind. You just keep loading that cart.
those are great. Those are great. My dad had two. And one had a very different meaning, and it meant like just stop. The first one was just going to do the job right, do it right the first time.
That's right.
And I literally, short and sweet, but he would make an example. Like if I sit there and I would complain, like he said he's going to go out there and cut a load of wood, cut a tree down. In my translation, that meant I'm there all day long because once he started. But if I got a little cranky and I put the wood pile over here and I was lazy, he'd calmly wait till I was all done and he'd say, okay, I want you to move it over here now, because I did a lazy job.
That's right.
But the biggest thing, though, he'd say, he had a Scottish like Sean Connery, not that strong kind of accent, Canadian Scottish accent. But if he ever paused and with a smile said, Mr. Man, if he said Mr. Man, that was, he's mad.
It's
so
coming.
you just drop it and you say, yes, Daddy, you just do whatever it has to be. But we all got those great stories, great cars. Let's talk a little bit about you. So tell me, you've been in town for how long now? Tell me a little about your background for people listening.
So it's hard to believe because it's just flown by, but that we've been here in Northern Nevada for 2.5 years now.
I remember when you first got here. I can't believe it's been just 2.5 already.
It's crazy, right? And so it was. I arrived here and it would have been the end of June in 2023. The family got here mid-July so that the kids could start school in August. And so prior to that, we spent the preceding 10 years on the East Coast in Southeast Virginia Beach specifically.
Mm-hmm. Nice area.
And then we're in the Deep South. Prior to that, where my wife and I grew up, and that's us. We've been blessed as a family with two great 10-decade-long runs in the communities that I served prior to coming here. And the industry average in my business is less than 5 years. So to get 10 years in two places,
that's great, and
in two great communities that we sort of caught at expansion points was great. And now it's funny, 2.5 years have flown by, and I'd be lying if I said I'm old enough now that I would love to get 15 out of this one and hang them up. But yeah, it'd be great but if nothing else, it'd be great to get another 10 years here.
Well, we're glad to have you. I've already seen what you've done in the community. Your team is amazing. But for those people, what are we up to now, Terry? 1.5 million?
1.6 million now.
1.6 listeners.
China wakes up. It changes.
Wait to the very end, and the fine print gives me a more accurate number of listeners. But we're going to go 1.6 for today. 1.6 today. For those who don't know, because that's a big, long name of the company, Economic Development Authority of Western Nevada, better known as EDAWN. For our listeners, explain what that is, because as I'm reading your website and your bio, I mean, I think it's going to blow people away at all that it encompasses.
So thanks, and I love talking about the work that our team does. I'm blessed to, I think, have an incredible group of professionals that deliver for this region every day. And
They're very good.
And so simply put, our job is to sustainably grow the local economy. Now we do that a number of ways, but the one that everyone knows is business attraction. So that's pretty easy. That's where I have a team and a business-to-business outbound selling team that travels all over the country and the world, finding industries that are right for our community and bringing them home. Now, that, interestingly enough, is only about 20% of our work. Everybody thinks it's all of our work. It's about 20%.
I would have thought it would have been 80%. So that's interesting.
So we also have, and we're talking more about these teams now because we want the community to understand this piece. Right. I've always sort of held myself to the standards that 80% of the jobs in a healthy economy come from the existing industry, and so to do that, you've got to be really engaged with your incumbent businesses and really committed to their growth. What I like to say is if the promises we make to the businesses that we're bringing here aren't true for the businesses that are here, we have broken it. And so I have a dedicated team now that works exclusively in business retention and expansion, and so we're this year we're growing into a cadence of talking to and meeting with 600 of our local industry partners each year. So it's important to know. I don't work in retail. We work. EDAWN works exclusively in the commercial and industrial part of the economy.
Okay.
And our goal is to meet with 600 community partners in that space every year. Now, our region has grown to the point where we can't get to everybody, but if we're talking to 600 businesses a year about what's going on in their houses, then we know that we'll have enough of a picture of what's going on. And so we're working with those industries. One, if you're doing well, we want to make sure you continue to do well. If you're growing, we want to make sure that we help you grow and that you have as seamless and smooth process as we can offer. And if you're not doing so well, we want to do everything we can to help you find your road back to success. So that's what we do with our existing community. And then also, we're one of the only economic development authorities really that certainly of our size and in a market like this in the country that has a dedicated team that's focused on entrepreneurial development. So we have 3 full-time employees that all they do is work with our small businesses and our entrepreneurs to help people start, scale, grow, and I won't bore you with the suite of services we provide there, but it is different from anything else that we do. While trying to generate the same outcomes.
Well, dig a little deeper
cool.
in that area, because I know there's a lot of people here that are entrepreneurs, maybe just a 30,000-foot level, because the people who are listening go, I for one didn't realize that was a big part of the business. I should have.
Yep. So it's interesting. The college, I started working in entrepreneurial development before we came here, and one of my favorite sort of examples is the College of William and Mary did a piece of research. I think it was either the Commonwealth of Virginia or the city of Richmond. I forget which, but nonetheless, it was that research is about 20 years old now, but it really holds true because what it does is it described an entrepreneurial ecosystem and more importantly, the needs of a founder as sort of this cyclone of inputs. And you have to have all of them to be successful. You have to have access to capital. You have to have mentors. You have to have education. You've got to have customers, obviously. You've got to have all of these things that you need to make a business work. And then, so our job is, I like to say, to help calm the storm. Mm-hmm. So if you've got this cyclone of inputs above a founder, what I like to envision that we do is we stand right beside that founder and help them pull the pieces out that they need in the moment to achieve the next level of success. And where that's really hard when you're talking about an entrepreneurial ecosystem is because every founder is facing a different set of challenges. Right. It's a multivariate equation, and every founder needs a different set of variables. But more importantly, based on where you are in the life of your business, it's impossible to say, okay, well, these 2 folks are in the same business, so they definitely need they need the same school. No. If you're at ideation, then you need structure. If you have structure but you don't have access to capital, you need help organizing a raise. You need customers for it to be a business. And so, depending on where each founder is in the life of their operation, what they're going to need from us is different. And so this is the place where we have to be most nimble, and we have to be most intentional about really listening well and investing in the individuals, the founders in this case, that we're trying to help establish here.
Because I can tell you, I've worked with some entrepreneurs, and some have been really successful. One of the biggest challenges I know they had for ones who haven't been successful is they were working in a silo, and all these things. You use the analogy with the twister or the whirlwind going all around them, and all these people giving bits of advice and giving input. They needed a little clarity. They need someone to say, "Okay, guys, I'm going to give you to you straight. I have nothing vested in this other than your overall success. Right. These are the things from structure to raises to organizational, whatever those strategic initiatives are. They need that kind of clarity."
And I couldn't agree more. And also, what's great for us, we are that neutral third party. So we operate as a service to the community. The organizations that invest in me are very much in sort of an us and we state, buying into the concept that the rising tide lifts all ships. But I don't charge the companies I work with for the services we provide. So to your point, is why I like to say we like to help calm the storm for our entrepreneurs. It's because what they know is we want to be a trusted resource. Where we have a vested stake in the economy growing, we don't charge for our services. We don't take pieces of the company. We don't do like a lot of folks in the space do. We just want to be invested in the success of that individual, because if they win, the community wins. When the community wins, we all win.
You said that's really helpful. I think people listening, everyone's got a different perspective of what your group does, and I think some of them probably thought maybe, oh, you do take a piece of it. That is, but no, that's really good to share with them. No, you were there just to help coach them along and give them the tools necessary to grow.
That's right. I get really, really concerned. So one of the big things I think executives in my industry have to fight is the perception that you're running a pay-to-play shop. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's pretty common in our industry. I mean, some of it's unavoidable because I have investors. So we may be a not-for-profit business, but we are still a business. I have a payroll to make. I got rent to pay, and so I do. So I mean, I do have revenue to raise every year for ourselves, just to sort of keep our own lights on. But we work really hard to be transparent and engaged with everybody, regardless of size, mean, and scale, to ensure that we, to the best of our ability, avoid those pay-to-play accusations being levied upon us. We think it's critical for us. If the community is going to trust us, the community has to know that we are impartially invested in everyone's success.
Yeah. Great to know. Question for you. You talked about you're reaching out there to bring investors or business in here. You're reaching out to the 600 companies here. Entrepreneur is part of your organization. Is there another piece of it that we haven't touched on?
The rest of it really gets into operations. I mean, again, we may be a not-for-profit company, but we try to be a great company nonetheless. And also because we work hand in glove with the business community, I need people to sort of see themselves in what we do. And so I have a marketing group, an operations group, an administration group primarily, and then also I have an investor relations team that is tasked with raising the revenues that don't always connect perfectly with our outcomes.
Part of this show, which again, remind our viewers, is presented by the National Automobile Museum here in Reno. Part of it is I want to tie the cars in. I want to talk to people who are making a difference in the community, organizations that not only that are making a difference, individuals like yourself, but to create an awareness, because there might be some things out there that are just misinformation that have been circulating for a long time that we could talk about if there's any of those issues. There's just things that people don't know, and they say, oh yeah, that organization, I've heard that name, but I really don't know who Taylor is. I really don't know what the mission is. So this is an opportunity to kind of tackle some of those things.
That's awesome. And by the way, I want to talk about the cars too. So
yeah, we're going to get into cars too. So real quick, I want to ask you just specifically, if you could give us like your overall, just an overview on the economic climate of Reno for those people here.
Sure. And so this is where I love answering this question, but I always apologize to everyone who's going to hear it before I give it. So it's, and this is where I like to say, so this is when I answer this question, I try to always answer it honestly and agnostically, and so recognizing that the conversation around our economy, both locally and nationally, will always have a political tilt to it. But I always like to offer the qualifier that it's my job to work for whoever's in the chair, and so we work very hard to stay away from taking overtly political positions. So everything I'm about to say here is just meant to be analysis of the market as it exists today, and so it's important that when you look at the last 2 years, it's been tough. I don't want to hide the ball from anybody. And this is where somebody would quickly say, well, but the financial markets have done great. They have. And so I always like to offer the qualifier. I stole this from Bloomberg. It's part of their tagline. If you listen to if you ever watch their television channel, but they sort of say the financial markets are not the economy is not the financial markets, and that's 100% true. And the more local we make our work, the less it's true. Mm-hmm. The more it's true. Sure. So if we are blessed to be in a desirable market, but over the last 2 years, the cabal of the Fed maintaining a very restrictive interest position as they've been trying to bring interest down, along with earlier in this year an unknown tax policy. And by unknown tax policy, I mean this one's now been more or less resolved by what is commonly known as the One Big Beautiful Bill. But but prior to the adoption of that legislation, it was hard for business to predict what its coming tax liability would look like, because so much of the 2017 tax cuts were set to expire. And then 3, there's been a great deal of uncertainty around tariffs and what final tariff policy would be. And so that with as a region working through the lingering effects of inflation that we saw during the pandemic, particularly as that affected construction inputs and labor rates, have made deals really hard to do. Mm-hmm. Now, that wasn't specific to us. That's been true for everybody in the country. I'm so proud of our commercial real estate community and of our team, because through all of those headwinds, we found a way to continue a steady flow of announcements in the region. And so in the last 2 years, we've been able to maintain a pretty good clip of around 18 to 20 announcements per year. Now, based on the size of my pipeline, I would have liked for us to have done twice that. But the truth is, those are the deals that we could get done. Now, as I look forward, I'm really excited about what I think 2026 is going to be for our market. Here's why. The Fed is now cutting rates, which is great.
Yep, it's great.
And so rates are coming down. Tax policy is known. Every week now, it seems that the federal government is checking the box on another trade agreement with a foreign government around what our trading relationships are going to look like going forward. That's pulling the uncertainty out of the market. I'm really happy that the federal government decided to open again yesterday.
Yeah, that makes a big difference for a lot of people.
That's a really big thing in my world. And so, recognizing we're on the end of the largest shutdown in the history of our country, right. I mean, that also affected our trade. So where I know I started with sort of a doom and gloom statement about how difficult it's been, I am so aspirational about what our market's going to be over the next 3 years. I just don't have enough good things to say about the work that's been done by our commercial real estate and industrial development partners to get us ready to succeed as we look forward. And so I'm really excited about what's coming.
Is there a particular industry or sector that has, more appeal or growth potential?
For sure. So
just across the board in general.
If you live in northern Nevada, really, if you live anywhere in the United States right now, I promise you, there's a community conversation going on regarding data centers, and specifically data centers around what has been an artificial intelligence boom, both in our country and globally. So, happy to talk about data centers. It's interesting. It's something that most communities are concerned about. I'm so excited about some of the common sense approach that our region is taking to data center development, particularly around water use. We announced, in fact, so happy to have done a groundbreaking this morning with one of our partners who's building a data center in the Keystone Corridor here in Reno. So for those of you that might not be in the region that are hearing this is sort of on the periphery of our downtown. It's an adaptive reuse. Well, actually, no, they scraped it clean, so it's urban redevelopment of a site. But what's great is they're using closed loop water-based cooling. So what does that mean? They charge the system one time, takes less water than is required to fill up a swimming pool, and you never have to refill it again. It's reusing that water over and over again, as well as a great use of a site that was heavily underutilized, but also just being a great community partner around making sure that we're not adversely impacting our residents. That's possible here, and I'm happy about it. Now, where data centers are sort of it's the most financeable deal in America right now. We've been blessed starting in 2017 with the Tesla announcement. So we make the majority of the Model Ys that are sold in the United States right here in northern Nevada. And what's great is starting in 2017 to present, we've proven that we can do tech-based advanced manufacturing very well, and that continues to be the fastest growing part of our industrial economy. We're met with a great manufacturer yesterday that I can't talk about, but they know who they are, and I hope they're hearing this, because the last thing I told them is how badly we wanted them in northern Nevada, and now I guess I'm telling everybody in the world how badly we want this company in northern Nevada. But another great tech-based advanced manufacturer that would come here to scale their operation and serve all of the western states.
Well, that's exciting news, because a lot of people think of Tesla and they think of the other part, the recycling component, and they think of the data centers, and they think of all these different potential growth factors. What are some of the things that you want to convey to the people who are listening that maybe, I don't want to say misinformation, but you just want to clarify that might be floating around? Anything that jumps out at you?
Absolutely. And so one of the things that I talk about every day is people are always asking me, have we grown too much? Are we growing too fast? Basically, how is my quality of life going to be affected by what you're doing? And so one of the things that I like to say is one of the primary reasons that my board, I think, hired me. So I wasn't in the room when they were deciding to hire me, but they have told me on the back end of that a big part of why they brought us out here, brought my family out here, is because I was an early adopter of what are called sustainable development principles. Now I'm not talking about sustainability through what would be what has become a more political conversation. I'm talking about sustainability through the lens of just having basically only working deals that don't overburden the regional infrastructure that we have. Unless I have a plan to build infrastructure to preserve quality to sort of accommodate that and that developer and provide quality of life, and so the short answer I can tell you is no, we haven't grown too much. Now, it's important to know if you're ever sitting with an economic developer and the economic developer tells you we've grown too much, you should fire that person immediately because they're done.
Tell me someone's going to say that. They wouldn't be there very long.
Yeah, so I am. It is my job to be unapologetically pro-growth and to advocate for our development community wherever I can. But also, it's critical that we walk the talk of working within the infrastructure that we have and not overburdening not just our transportation infrastructure. Traffic is what everybody feels, but in addition to traffic, there's power, there's water, there's sewer, there's land. I mean, once we build the land, it's built, and so there's open space considerations, and so we're working hand in glove with our regional utility providers as well as our local governments. In fact, all of our regional utility providers are now represented on my board, so they can be part of this conversation. Great. So they know what I'm working. But a great example of how this has taken hold already, we've made a commitment in our strategic plan and also now in organizational principle. We're not working large water users. So if we see a prospect, and there are 2 or 3 great deals out there right now, but they're heavy water users. Mm-hmm. We've elected not even to submit a proposal on those because. Where we are blessed to have Lake Tahoe and the detention bay, basically the reservoirs that have been built coming down the mountain in the Truckee. We feel the need to be a good partner for our water authority and make sure that what is the most important resource that a community can have in the West is safeguarded for our community forever.
Yep, especially here.
100%, yeah.
We're going to take a pause. Thank you very much, Taylor. We're going to take a quick pause, take a commercial break, and we'll be right back. Don't forget, the show is made possible from the National Automobile Museum.
We'll be back with more What Drives Reno on 1060 AM KFOY, Radio for America.
I'm having my birthday at the National Automobile Museum. They have this cool birthday zone with Mater and Lightning McQueen. And their brand new Children's Activity Center has fun games like Junior Engineering Studio, Lego Building, an interactive car wash, and a lot more too. They even have a theater where we can watch a movie or play Mario Kart. I even get my own birthday t-shirt.
Book your child's ultimate birthday party today at the National Automobile Museum. Visit automuseum.org/events.
Looking for a venue for your next event? The National Automobile Museum can host any event in a variety of venues to choose from. Have an awards ceremony in the 157-seat theater or select one of several themed galleries for a business luncheon or banquet. Guests will love the 16,000-square-foot Riverside Pavilion, complete with outdoor bar, heaters, and fire pits. Everything you need, including chairs, linens, staging, and AV equipment, are also available. Go to automuseum.org for details.
We're back with more What Drives Reno, presented by the National Automobile Museum in downtown Reno. And now here's your host, Phil McDougall.
Welcome back, Reno. This is Phil McDougall, and this show is presented by the National Automobile Museum. Before we continue our conversation with Taylor Adams, I just want to give you all what are we up to? 1.6 million now? 1.6, closing on the 2 million? I mean, no, actually,
billion. We're in the billion.
We're in billions.
China woke up.
We want to remind everybody here that if you haven't been to the National Automobile Museum, you don't know what you're missing. We were just recently voted number 5 best automobile museum in the entire country by USA Today. We're really, really proud about that. The other thing is TripAdvisor gave us top billing, number 1 favorite place to visit in Reno, and we're proud because we've made a big change in our philosophy. If you tell me you've been there in the last 6 months and that's it, you probably missed 3 exhibits in that time. Most people say to me, oh, it doesn't change. No, we change every 60 days. Let me give you an example. So we've had the lowriders in the past. They're coming back in this December. We just had an amazing Porsche collection in here for the last 2 weeks. We have an amazing collection, 110 years of Harley Davidsons there. You're never going to see that stuff assembled anywhere in the area. It's here in the museum. But in addition to that, we have a 3,000 square foot children's activity center. So 240 automobiles from the very first car down to Elvis's personal car. And a little side note, in his car for 35 years, nobody knew it was there. Elvis's will was in the trunk, his original black belt certificate. We have all kinds of stuff like that, especially some stuff in Frank Sinatra's Gia. But we do a lot of community events. So if you're a nonprofit, if you're an organization, you're looking for something new and exciting to do, you want to have a speaker presentation, you want to have an award ceremony, you want to have a ceremony of life, wedding, anything. I probably shouldn't have done those two together like that. But we have a lot of cool things to offer you. But I want to bring to your attention that starting on the 22nd, we are going to have our blowout. We do it once a year. It's 50% off all of our memberships. And I joke about this a lot, but it's real. We're all kind of cutting back the uncertainty. Thank goodness the government is going back into full mode again. But just when I took my grandkids out to get some Happy Meals, it was like $60. That's members for 2 adults for a full year to go to the museum. I have a little Honda Fit. It cost me like $45 to fill it up, and that's good lately. But you can get a membership there for the whole year to come 363 days of the year. So we do a lot of fun things, but on the 22nd, we have Santa Claus coming in. On the 29th, we have a casting call, and I really want to remind people of this. People of all ages, they say, why are you doing a casting call? We're doing a casting call because we want all of our social media, our marketing, our website, our commercials, we want them to reflect the people that live in our community. We're not going to get some stock art and start putting them in. We want people who live here. So if you think you have that quality, we're going to ask you to come down on the 29th, and you're going to come down from 12 to 2:30. We take a picture of you. You say a little line or two, and if you're selected to be in a commercial or marketing campaign or website, that would be great. So all those things are happening and exciting, and things are changing all the time. The next thing we have coming right around the corner, everyone remembers this audience, Steve McQueen, like the ultimate movie guy. His grandson I met 2 weeks ago, and he is bringing Steve McQueen's cars, motorcycles down to the museum soon, and it's just going to be a nice honor, a whole display on Steve McQueen and everything he's contributed. So it's going to take you down memory lane, but bottom line, it's some cool stuff. So if you haven't been to the museum, it's automuseum.org. And now I'm going to switch gears back to our guest, Taylor Adams. Remember, he is the President and Chief Executive Officer, Economic Development Authority of Western Nevada, and known as EDAWN, but he is also a car guy. He is a car guy. So we're gonna dig into that in a couple of minutes. But first, I got to ask the question that I know people in my community in towns are asking, and I know Terry, producer, has the same another question as well. I get on Pyramid, and I love it. I just love this area, and I love the growth because I think you need to have growth. You just got to do it right. But I know people are listening saying to me, okay, Phil, my commute used to be 20 minutes. Now it's 40 minutes. I love all the things going up, and I know we need more housing, but boy, the roads just seem like they're getting smaller versus wider. Anything you want to, words of wisdom or pass on, thoughts?
Sure. So, but first, before I answer that, a quick word about the museum. As you know, I spend a lot of time in the museum. I like it a lot. And you didn't list my favorite car. Newman's? Well, so I do love the Newman race cars that are there right now, especially because one of them is a for anyone in the UK or that's south of the border here in the US. I mean, the fact that there's a Mark I Mexico in the museum right now is just for a guy that grew up loving fast forwards. All over it. But secondarily, no, it's John Wayne's Corvette.
Yes,
that's my favorite. I love that car.
It's beautiful, and actually, I can't prove it, but I was told that was the first Corvette ever on the West Coast.
I believe it. I mean, you look at the year. You look at it just makes sense. Now, my favorite thing though is having seen that car up close. I'm a fairly tall guy. About the same height that John Wayne would have been. I don't know how he got in and out of the thing.
You want to know the story behind it real quick?
Yeah.
He bought the car. I think there was about 300 made. 150 were bought in advance or kept with the in the know people. Yeah. He bought it sight unseen. He got it. He couldn't fit in. He got in like once. So I forget the name of his best friend, an actor in all the Western series. He gave it to him shortly afterwards.
So that makes sense. It's a beautiful car.
Yeah, it's a beautiful car. One of my favorites as well. And before we get into it again, one of the first times I met you came down, and you and your group have been an amazing support structure and a resource for the National Automobile Museum. But I knew I was with a car guy, and we were walking down, and there was cars, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, they were like 50 feet away, and I could barely see them myself. And you were reciting the make, the model, the year, and some fact about cars that were 40 feet in front of me, and I'm going, crap, I I don't know any of that stuff. He knows it. And then I had the pleasure of having lunch with you and one of the driving force members yesterday, and just watching you guys talk. And I'm going, oh my God, this is like a walking encyclopedia.
Well, I grew up around them, and I love them. And so to make sure that I'm being responsible for our time so that we can actually start talking about cars, I'll answer the question about transportation. So,
all right.
So here's the thing, roads are like trees. When was the best day to plant a tree? Well, it was 40 years ago. When's the second best day? Today. And so, no doubt, we have some of our regional transportation infrastructure that is strained right now. Also, when you look at our regional topography, we're constrained in where we could put new roads. You look at the amount of real estate in our community that's federally owned. You look at real estate in our community that's protected. Things that it's not an easy problem to solve. That said, we are so fortunate to have Bill Thomas at our Regional Transportation Commission, and we work hand in hand and also hand in glove with Bill and his team to ensure that as we're looking forward, we're answering these questions before we cite future projects. I am really excited that we're going to see Interstate 80 between here and the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center expanded in both directions. It's going to take a long time to do that. We're working right now on additional right-of-way that could maybe take some of the pressure off of that. We'd love to see northern access to the Tri-Center. We'd love to see southern access to the Tri-Center improved. We're even looking at what could be passenger rail during the drive times to and from the Tri-Center to take some of that pressure off. Now that talks about the commute to our industrial centers. But yes, we've got as we're building. If we're successful in getting this right-of-way adopted, getting these roads built, then obviously, there's a great opportunity to talk about how we can relieve pressure in some of our neighborhoods. Because right now, if you look the way that we're laid out, we have arterial right-of-way. Really, we have one east-west, one north-south, and one loop. That's what we got. And you could say that we've got, once you get north of 80, you could say that we've got two that sort of branch off and go in different directions. But really, what we're feeling during the drive time that's affecting our commute is there really aren't any alternates, right?
There isn't, especially the area I just referred to up there by Pyramid Lake. You take Pyramid.
That's right. And so for us,
all the way up to Vista, and that's the same.
So that to say, we're actively working with our infrastructure partners, not just in transportation, but across all of our infrastructure categories, so that everybody understands what we're working on, and we're being a collaborative region at the stakeholder level to ensure that we're solving as many of these problems as we can before they emerge, and that we're preserving quality of life for our residents.
Yeah. To use your analogy in my own little way here, the time to do this when you planted the tree was 40 years ago. Now we're inheriting it, and it's you can't just go ahead and make the roads wider right now. It should have been done then. It's only got to get more expensive, but the comfort is you got the entities working together to resolve this now.
And that's Phil. That's exactly right. And I think what's also critical for everyone in the region that's hearing this to know is that we've not stuck our heads in the sand. We recognize that these are critical issues that we've got to solve if we're going to continue growing sustainably. And so we're working cohesively as a region right now to sort of find the best possible answers for these solutions, and are doing all that we can to sort of catch up, and then hopefully at some point in the future get ahead.
Yep. Perfect. Terry, you had a question.
I do, and it's actually kind of in the same vein as what we're talking about. So everything that EDAWN does, as far as you attract companies, correct? And you help them find the land, you help everything around. How involved are you in the planning? Because I know we've still got county and city zoning ordinances that we have to follow, right? How involved is EDAWN in planning, let's just say, the infrastructure or the transit back and forth to a place? So I hope, this is interesting. So I hope that we are sort of in this Goldilocks zone in the space. So it's important for me to recognize there's nobody I don't have any engineers on my team. Sure. I don't have anybody in my organization that's qualified to establish right of way and build a road. Right, exactly.
But we want to be a partner for and a useful and helpful partner for the organizations that are charged with that. So for us, my goal is to be as engaged as we productively can be without getting in the way of the people that have the subject matter expertise to actually deliver the outcome. Right. And so I think where we're most effective is at the planning, at the catalyst level.
Sure.
I talk a lot with our own team about the importance of our role as a regional catalyst, to advocate for the things that we know are right for the future of our region, but that also protect and safeguard and improve quality of life for our residents. And so for us, we try to be really engaged as a catalyst, but recognize that once that work is done, we've got to guard against getting in the way of people that are, because if we get in the way, we slow them down, and we don't want them to slow down. We want them to go. So I hope that answers the question.
It does. No, it does. And I was just kind of curious because, like Phil, I live up in the Spanish Springs area, and I'm up in that area all the time, obviously, because I live there. So I see all these new warehouses going up, and I see all these new businesses coming in, and I am welcoming them. Don't get me wrong, but also on the other side, in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, there's just that many more cars in the morning on the road to get to where I need to go. But that's part of growth, and I get that. And that's one thing.
And I'll tell you one thing that we're really trying to affect, both as you work north out Pyramid Highway and also out 395 to Stead and beyond. When I look at those parts of our community, it's clear to me that there's an opportunity for us to create a live-work environment. Yeah. So I saw a statistic last week that 80% of our employees at the Reno Industrial Center are commuting from the north side of Sparks, basically, from Sparks, Spanish Springs area, working out Pyramid. And I just think about what it could mean to those families, because you think about it, in a best-case scenario, that commuter is on the road for an hour every day. Yeah. Absolute best-case scenario. And so one of the reasons you're seeing some expansion north of the residential developments on both of our northbound arterial, sort of roads, is that highways would be the best thing to say there. Is that I feel an obligation to create live-work opportunities for those residents, so that they don't have to commute as far. And also, I know that in both of those parts of the communities, there's a desire for more fast casual dining, for more sit down, more evening environment, and really. Where it's funny, I'm about to talk out of both sides of my mouth, I guess. Where I said,
welcome to my show.
Yeah, where I said earlier that we don't work in retail. We don't recruit retail. But I do feel an obligation to meet the needs of the community. Sure. And so and the way that we can help in the retail space is to make sure the market's right for expansion. And so. Restaurants, it's really simple. It's almost impossible for a restaurant of the quality that these communities are asking for to make it on one meal service a day. Yeah. And so what's interesting, you might have you see that there are restaurants working north in our community that do breakfast. It's a quick breakfast. Maybe it's breakfast and lunch, or maybe it's just dinner, or or a lot of fast food. For us, the reason we want to create live work opportunities is because live work opportunities is where we also stabilize sort of what would be traffic counts. So retail and restaurants in particular work on traffic flow. Yeah, it's got to qualify, and if you've got the counts, you're in the game. If you don't, you're not. And so for us, by creating live work opportunities in the right time of day, we think that we can improve those offerings for our residents in the northern part of our community.
Well, it's funny you bring that just real quickly, Phil, and then we can move on. So it's funny you say, because I took a job back 2010 over in San Jose in the tech industry. Very lucrative job. I miss it in some aspects. But I was having to live an hour and a half out of the Bay Area because I couldn't afford to live in the Bay Area. The money I was making in the Bay Area was almost poverty level compared to everywhere else in the country. So I had to live an hour and a half out. And I did have one of my work partners that shared a cubicle with. He told me his name was Amit, and I'll never forget him. He was a great dude, and he was 100% right. He's like, you're only going to be able to survive a year doing this. He goes, you have to move closer to work, or else you will start to resent this job and you will look for a way out of it. Year later, he was right, 100% right. And it had nothing to do with the job. It was just because my quality of life was terrible. I was having to get up at 4 a.m, take a train in, and you have to go take the bus, and then you take I was commuting.
It only lasts so long.
He's right. And Amit was right. You want to live as close to work as possible because then your quality of life just explodes.
It's a critical component of sustainable communities, and each community is going to define that different ways. But nonetheless, it is I agree. So we are motivated to create live work opportunities for our residents that live in the northern part of our community.
Yeah, and so that makes perfect sense. So, sorry.
Okay, we're going to switch gears. Thank you very much. I'm going to go into some more car stuff. Yeah. But before that, I get the biggest kick out of asking this question because it just blows me away every single time. Totally unrelated, but if you did not go into this particular career, what could you see you doing?
That's easy. So I broke my father's heart when I told him that I was not going to build and sell cars with him. I mean, that's and don't get me wrong, I loved that. I grew up in that business. I loved that business. There was never a day that I was in it that I didn't enjoy it. The difference is my wife just didn't want to live in Mississippi, and she and truly no, and I'm not going to blame that on her. The truth is we had a vision to raise our children in a more metropolitan area. Yep. And so I had to find something else to do. So,
but you would stay in the car business.
Absolutely.
You're not going to say you're going to be like an actor or a.
Oh God, no. No. If we were to back up to the junior high version of me, you would have been hard pressed to find open space on my wall that didn't have a picture of a car of some kind on it. And I remember, I mean, I may still be the only, back in the mid '80s when I was in junior high, I remember I begged my parents to get me a subscription to both Car and Driver and Motor Trend, and so. And I read both cover to cover every month. I mean, when I tell you that I've had a lifelong love affair with automobiles, I mean it's a real thing.
I knew that right away. I knew that right away.
And it's funny when my wife gets she gets frustrated. She won't watch. She won't be in the room with me in the living room with me when I'm watching TV because I exclusively watch car shows. It's either car shows or cooking shows.
Yeah,
that's it.
She knows.
Yeah, and so it's. There's rarely a night that you'll come by my house where I'm not either watching fresh content from something like Vice Grip Garage or watching old content that I've already seen a couple of times just because I like the car.
No, you know what you like. We're going to do a little trivia question here, but I want to ask you one more question first. What would you say if you can go back in time to you and that 18, 16-year-old? What advice would you give yourself?
Drive slower.
Drive slower.
No, absolutely. Like every 16 to 18-year-old with cars that were faster than he should have had. There were a few tickets in that part of my life. I've gotten better at not getting those, but no. I created a situation I created questions that I had to answer when I was looking for a job about how fast I like to drive back then.
Yeah, you knew. I just saw in the news today. Didn't they say that our state is like it's for a speeding ticket? It's like $800 now or something.
That's
like
right,
that.
Yeah.
It's expensive, so I will be going slow.
Yeah.
All right. So, quick question, quick reminder. This show is made possible from the National Automobile Museum down here in Reno. We're open 363 days a year. So, for you guys looking, it's Saturday. It's coming up on noon. If you're looking for something to do, I want to ask you right now to go down to the National Automobile Museum, and we're going to do a little contest. And if you go up, I'm going to ask these guys a couple of questions. And for every question you get right, I'll throw in 4 tickets. 4 tickets. So all the person has to say is when they go down to the museum today or tomorrow is say, Phil said. On What Drives Reno, Phil said. Phil Mitugo said, Phil said, I get 4 free tickets today. And the first 10 people that say that will get 4 tickets each. Fair enough?
Perfect.
Actually, now the pressure's on. So the softball question, I think you both know, is what was the first car launched into space?
Musk's Roadster, right?
It was Tesla Roadster. So that's a gimme. Look, it's already 4 tickets. So first person to come down there is going to get Phil said. Next question is, and there's going to be a timer on this because it can't be like this coercion thing here going back. Right. First one. What was the last automaker to offer cassette players in their vehicles?
Oh wow, it's got to be General Motors or Toyota just because they move so slowly as it relates to changes.
I agree with Taylor. Yeah, it's either GM or Toyota.
Ford.
Oh wow.
Ford. I looked right at you. I'm going,
wow. I didn't. I didn't know.
Ford's okay. All right. Next one. Why was a national speed limit of 55 miles an hour enacted in 1974?
The gas crisis.
Got to be. That makes so much sense.
It had nothing to do with safety.
Yeah, right. I know. I was surprised to learn that. It was actually okay. There we go. There's another 4 mounting up. What was the most stolen car in America?
When? This year? Last year?
If you, I don't have a year. Sorry, I'm not that specific.
Yeah.
I'm going to say in the last 5 years, to make it specific.
Most stolen car in America in the last 5 years.
Now, I knew the answer to this 10 years ago. I don't know how, but it was the Honda Accord.
Yeah.
I think it was a Honda, I think.
I mean, it's got to be some, it's not going to be an exotic or a sports car. It's going to be like a Taurus or something like that, which they don't make anymore.
Enough cars to affect the numbers to be stolen that way.
I'm going to say it's going to be how about a Volkswagen Passat? Why not?
I'm going Honda Accord.
Okay, Honda Civic.
There you go.
Civic.
Yeah.
All right,
Good call.
audience. Okay, which car is considered to be the first muscle car? Now, everyone could say something different. I have my docents together, and I did this thing about muscle cars. Very emotional conversation about this topic.
Oh, absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, this is tough.
Give me the year.
So, golly. So, depending on who you're talking to, there are people that you could start in 37 and really go forward. But I'm going to say 55 is probably where most people would land on sort of the birth of muscle. I don't know.
57 Chevy. That's what I'm guessing.
Well, according to Google, the word, it is a 1964. What would you say?
64. I mean.
Oh, Camaro? No, Corvette?
No, it's going to be.
Our board had a conversation about this, and
so that's true. Okay, so
couldn't be that car.
So let's see if we're going to say 64.
64. I'll still give you the points if you give me.
It's going to be something like an Impala or maybe a 500. I don't know what you got.
I got a 64 Pontiac GTO.
Okay, I'll buy that all day long.
Yeah, I would agree.
Right. We got people that say, I'm not sure about that one. All right, we got 8 here. Got a couple more questions. How are we doing on time? A couple minutes left. Which British car is held together by super glue?
All of them.
Oh, wow. That's a good point. Held together by super glue? I don't know that. I mean, that feels like something Lotus might have tried at some point. I don't know.
That. You're right. That Lotus.
That Miller cycle engine is held together.
Right. It was Lotus. It made me smile when you said that. It feels like something they would do. What's the animal on the Porsche logo?
On the Porsche logo?
Yeah. What is that animal?
Oh,
God. The Porsche logo.
I close my eyes and think about it.
Oh, man.
So Ferrari's a horse. Lamborghini's a bull. Porsche, I don't know. What is it? I can't call it.
You just said it. It was one of the ones you just said.
Was it a bull?
It was a horse.
The horse. Oh, yeah. So it is a horse.
It
okay.
is a horse, yeah. And we have the Gerari. That's a whole story in itself. That's Bill Harris' car. We took the wagon and we converted it and put a 365 Ferrari engine in it. He did for his commuter car. And on it, he created the logo. And he took the horse and made his own little Gerari logo, he called it. Okay, one more question. The inventor, this is probably too specific, but just in case, I'll give triple points. The inventor of a cruise control was, do you know?
It's General Motors, right?
No, it's actually I'm going to skip this one. It's not specific enough, but it was a blind gentleman.
Oh, yeah.
I just didn't know that. Okay, so this one here. How did the Ford Mustang get its name? Do you guys know what it was tied to? These are a little tougher.
The Pinto, right? There's the Pinto, the Mustang, and they had a whole horse line.
It has significance from the war time.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to totally off on that.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you one last question, and we got 12 tickets here. I will double it right now. We'll make it 30 people that come in. I'll give them a pair each. Okay. If they come in today only, if you guys can get this ticket. Otherwise, we're down to 20. Which automobile manufacturer was the first to offer seatbelts as an option?
So,
as an option.
I take it Tucker doesn't count. Because I don't think they ever went into production.
Yeah.
So
we do have a Tucker there.
That's right. You did.
Edsel. I'm thinking Edsel. Didn't they do the lap belts first?
So that'd be Ford. You think it's Ford?
I think. I'm guessing.
You want to call a friend?
So let's see. So first to offer seat belts as an option.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know, but I'll roll with Ford. Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Nash.
Oh.
Yeah, surprised the heck out of me.
Wrong continent.
All right, I'm going to throw it in anyway. So the first 30 people that come to the museum today or tomorrow and say to the admissions, Phil said I get 4 tickets, they're going to get tickets to the museum for 4 adults or children just to come back and enjoy. Okay, fair enough. Thank you guys very much for joining us. Taylor Adams, thank you very much for your time today. Thank you for everything you do. And you know what I love most? I love most that when you started off the interview, you gave such accolades to your team.
Oh, thanks, man.
And
They're
a lot
awesome.
of people don't do that, but it really makes a difference. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for everything you do. For those of you who have not been to the National Automobile Museum, shame on you. Come on down and visit us. One Museum Drive, voted one one of the most favorite places to be in Reno by TripAdvisor, voted the most favorite place and top 5 automobile museums in Reno. Until next week, take care.
You've been listening to What Drives Reno, presented by the National Automobile Museum in downtown Reno. For more information about the museum, head on over to our website, automuseum.org. We'll be back next Saturday at 11 a.m. with What Drives Reno on 1060 a.m. KFOY, Radio for America.